You are listening to Fantha tracks.
He's waiting.
Classic Star Wars and the collectibles they gave us. From vintage Star Wars to the modern era of the saga. This is Collecting Tracks. Here are your hosts, Richard Hutchinson and Andy Preston.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Collecting Tracks. I'm Richard Hutchinson.
And I'm Andy Preston.
And we're your hosts for episode 17. We're all going on a Scarif holiday. Now, Andy, I didn't have Scarif holidays in the title. I had Jakku because obviously it's sun, it's warm, it's sand. But you've changed it to Scarif. Do you find Scarif more appealing?
Absolutely, Rich. Correct. Yeah. Jakku, lots of sand, lots of sun, but that's it. Come on, when you're going on holiday, you want a bit of sea as well, don't you? Bit of sea, bit of surf, palm trees waving in the breeze. Scarif's got it all. Perfect holiday destination. So, and it scans better with the inspiration for the title, doesn't it? We're all going on a Scarif holiday.
Well, that was the reason why I took Tatooine now, because Tatooine just would not fit at all.
Yeah,
so
I think
Jakku
I've just
was the
lost
next.
most of our listeners with that little rendition. Apologies for that.
Well, I'm hopefully going to visit Scarif next year, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Cool.
What's it been now? About 6-7 weeks since the last episode. So what have you been up to since the last show?
Well, it's been summer, hasn't it? We've actually had a bit of a summer this year.
Wow.
Nice weather. So a couple of weeks ago, had the annual family holiday. This time went to the Isle of Wight, which I've never been to before. Really lovely. We had an Airbnb in Cowes, just up from the harbour. Could look out the window and watch the boats going by. Some nice day trips out, some lovely scenery. Fantastic place. I will be going back. Also been to the Stars of Time Comic Con in Weston-super-Mare, where we met Wendy Padbury and Bonnie Langford from Doctor Who, both of whom were lovely, and didn't meet because his queue was a mile long all day, but certainly got to hear Mr. Brian Blessed, Boss Nass himself. There were a couple of loud cries of "Gordon's alive," which made my day. So that was good. And then just this last weekend, we've had a few day trips out, the highlight being a trip to the lovely city of Wells, not very far away from here, where we did the Hot Fuzz tour. Hot Fuzz was filmed all in and around Wells. Loads and loads of locations to find, and we did some silly photography and had lots of fun with that. So, that was a good laugh. How about yourself?
I'm glad you mentioned the Isle of Wight, because just a couple of days ago my wife mentioned about going down to the Isle of Wight. She has been when she's about 7 or 8 years old, but she's got next to no memory of it. Formerly living in Hastings, just on the south coast. So I think it's something that we might end up doing probably next year. Just have a pop down, see what it's like.
Very nice.
But
Remind me, I'll let you have the details of a really nice Airbnb.
Absolutely. Well, as most people know by now, I do like my holidays. So we went to Turkey. It was just a short break, just over a week. So that's what we enjoyed. We were looking somewhere that was pretty quiet because we didn't want to do the Marmaris's or anything like that. So we went to a nice place called Dalaman. And one of the highlights for me was a river or a canal to our, actually, I thought it was a river, but it's more of a canal, where we went past some hidden tombs, which I like the historical information on these kind of places, and I found it really fascinating learning about the Roman Empire and the Ottoman Empire and the Greeks and how they're all fighting over this tiny little territory that had no value really to anybody. But it was wonderful hearing it. I'm pretty sure the Turkish tour guide hammed a lot of it up, but it was really interesting. Really enjoyed it. So I would definitely recommend.
Did you come back loaded up with Uzai figures?
No, I didn't. I didn't really go into any kind of city places at all, but when we did, it was like being in Blackpool, to be honest with you. there was no local Turkish places the areas that we went, other than near our hotel, which was quite literally in the middle of nowhere. But it was great fun. Then it was my birthday last week or the week before. These kind of things all rolling to one now. And my wife had a surprise trip to Amsterdam booked, so we took the North Shields ferry over to Amsterdam. That was great fun. Anybody who's been to Amsterdam will know that is a lovely city, but it's probably not somewhere you would take kids. It was just me and my wife, but we did a lot of guided tours around Amsterdam. We've seen a lot of museums, and that was great fun as well. But obviously, with it being this time of year, I'm all prepared to go back to work next week. And one thing I did learn, actually, which I didn't know, was I was talking to a German friend who also works in education, and she was telling me that in Germany, the teachers don't get the 6 weeks off at the summer holiday. They're expected to work. And she was absolutely amazed that we got 6 weeks off. She couldn't believe it. And I thought, wow.
Yeah, dear me. You're talking about going back to work. Some of us haven't been, have only been away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't blame teachers. I'm married to one as well, so I can.
Yes. Well, I am going to go back to work because I'm going to Iceland soon on a geography field trip. I don't teach geography, but I'm dying to go to Iceland. I think it's going to be. It's a country that I'm probably not going to go to with the family, so really looking forward to that. So
very nice. Another Star Wars filming location, didn't they do bits of Rogue One there?
Did they? Oh, I didn't know that.
I can't remember the name of the planet, but where Jyn Erso and Galen and Lyra, where they were hiding out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The Krennic came and found them. I'm sure that was Iceland.
Oh, well, I'll certainly have a look and check out those details. But yeah, so...
You'll have
this
to see
episode,
what geographical features there are there. And,
yes, absolutely.
Take the kids to check them out.
So this episode then, I mean... The title, the weather, it was obviously going to be about fun in the sun. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have a look at, if we were going on a summer holiday, how can we make it more Star Wars? So, I mean, we'll put things in the show notes, like the obvious stuff, like your suitcases, your towels, and your swim shorts and things. But then you've added into it, and it's got quite an eclectic mix here. So let's start off with travel then, Andy. So I can't believe I missed this one. The airline, you put it down there first in the show notes. Of course, that's going to be high on most people's radars. But how on earth can we get a Star Wars plane?
Absolutely. So all Nippon Airways, ANA. Now you'll remember going back a few years ago, around about the time, I think it was for Force Awakens, wasn't it? They came out with 3 or 4 different branded Star Wars aircraft. There was an R2-D2 one, there was a BB-8 one, there was a C-3PO one. I think there was a generic Star Wars one, if I'm right. And you could fly Star Wars. They had seat backs, they had air sickness bags, they had your napkins, your tickets, everything was Star Wars liveried. So I think it would be a pretty special collector to have one of the planes. I'm sure Gus has got one in his backyard somewhere, but you ain't going to get a plane, but you can get models of the planes, you can get all of the accessories, and that's a nice little area of collecting. So yeah, if you're flying out on your holiday, what better way to do it than on a Star Wars branded aeroplane?
Well, speaking of that airplane, Gus Lopez, who you brought up there, a friend of ours, he was actually on that plane once. He didn't deliberately book to be on it. It just happened to be on it. And when he was on the plane, he started talking Star Wars, and he got given a load of Star Wars goodies from the plane as well, which was great. He shared that on one of his social media posts a couple of years back.
Fantastic. Why does that not surprise me?
Passports.
And if you're going on your holiday, what do you need? You need your passport if you're going anywhere outside of your home country. And a little bit of a jokey one, this one, because it's not going to get you very far in our galaxy, but they came up with a rather special cast and crew item, didn't they, Rich?
They did. The Empire Strikes Back passport. I think it's called Intergalactic Passport or something like that, isn't it? And I was offered one of these for about £50. And not
you
too
didn't turn
long
that
ago.
down, did you?
I did, and I didn't turn it down once. I turned it down twice, and it wasn't really that long ago. And it was a few months afterwards that I saw one go for auction for, I think it went for about £350, £400. And I was kicking myself. I thought, you know what, I really should have picked that up. What a really nice item, the Star Wars Intergalactic Passport. What was the purpose of that passport, though? We can't use it, so...
Yeah, well, it was to allow access to the sets for The Empire Strikes Back at Elstree at the studios. So they had these passports prepared, modelled on the old-style British passport. So a dark blue card exterior, and inside you had sort of light blue patterned pages. Some of them pre-stamped, but with others you could go and get them stamped at the different film sets. So you can get a Hoth stamp and a Bespin stamp and so on. And they're nice little collectibles. The ones that are stamped are individually numbered. And I think those were the ones that were actually issued to cast and crew and set visitors. And then you can also find the unstamped versions as well. Stamped ones go for a bit more than the unstamped, but fun little collectible from the set of Empire. And yeah, if you're going on your Star Wars holiday, flash one of those and who knows where you'll get to.
And the one on the SWC has Utapau stamped on it.
There we go, yes. Utapau, which was a planetary name in George Lucas's mind at the time of the original trilogy, but of course didn't actually make it into Star Wars universe until Revenge of the Sith, so a little foreshadowing there. While you're flying in your Star Wars airliner with your Star Wars passport, if you encounter a bit of turbulence, you might start feeling a little queasy. Is there anything Star Wars that you could use there, Rich?
Well, absolutely. Star Tours Motion Sickness had their own space sickness bag. A very plain bag, which is what you'd expect because at the end of the day it's for somebody vomiting in. But it's a grey bag. But it had the Star Tours logo, Disneyland on it, and used in case of space sickness. And somebody like yourself who gets motion sickness very easily, this would be perfect for me. Don't get motion sickness on planes and trains or anything like that at all, but you spin me round and you'll be picking up chunks.
Yeah, well, that Star Tours ride, that threw you around in all sorts of directions, didn't it? But I'd love to know whether these were actual intended for air sickness bags, or, well, not air sickness, simulator sickness, or whether it was a promotional item. Really don't know. But cool
I think it was
item,
intended.
Yeah, perhaps it was. I'm pretty sure we didn't get one when we went. It was back in the early 90s. That would have been a nice little collectible, which I would no doubt would have hung on to. But yeah, cool thing nonetheless. Down in the hold of your aircraft, you'd have had your luggage, wouldn't you? So what would your smalls have been packed in, Richard, if you'd gone on a Star Wars holiday?
Well, your most obvious one is the American Tourista suitcases, which I've got one. Daughter bought one for me about 5 years ago now, I'd say. And it's small enough to have enough for 3 or 4 days. So it's a nice little carry-on kind of suitcase. And I honestly thought, I'm not going to get much more than that when I'm doing my research. But I was absolutely delighted to see on the SWCA, there's actually a Return of the Jedi suitcase, which has Darth Vader, the Emperor's Royal Guards, some TIE fighters, and the Death Star 2 on it. It's absolutely brilliant. I would love to see one of them come off the conveyor belt, whether it would survive or not. But made by Adam Joseph.
It would get to you because somebody else might be inclined to pick that up as it went past.
Absolutely.
What a cool collectible! That is a thing of beauty, isn't it? Doesn't look all that robust for the way baggage is handled these days, but lovely little piece. The other one that you've highlighted is a Wicket the Ewok and Princess Nisa handbag. Suitcase. Looks a little bit smaller than a suitcase. And you've got on there a nice picture of Wicket and Nisa with Bagger, the horse, pulling a cart containing a little baby Ewok through the Ewok village. Lovely picture, and I'm sure as a kid you'd love to have had one of those to go on your holidays with.
Well, it always amazes me what stuff is available for the Droids and Ewok line. A very short-lived cartoon, but the amount of stuff that's out there is phenomenal.
It was really popular back in the day. Both of those by Adam Joseph Industries from the States.
Hi, I'm Duncan Poe, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
Bit more up to date, and Sports Direct of all places will sell you a wonderful hard-shell Darth Vader suitcase. Hard plastic, the whole front of the suitcase is full of a graphic of Darth Vader, that mask. It comes in 3 different sizes. Looks like a really robust, sturdy item. And again, no problem with recognising your luggage as it comes off the conveyor there with the Dark Lord himself coming down the conveyor at you. I love that.
Yeah.
$39.99, half price at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, the company who makes those must have a license with Disney because there's a lot of Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, I think it's Spider-Man and various other things as well. They've got a lot of character suitcases. I've bought numerous suitcases before for Sports Direct. They really don't last. But this looks like it's a quality product, so it certainly might be something I'll be looking to invest in at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice. So you get to your holiday destination, you check in, and what's the first thing that you usually do? You get off down the beach, don't you? What are you going to take down to the beach with you?
Well, it's got to be a towel. Now, in Star Wars land, how many towels are there? There were a lot. There were a lot on the SWCA. There's a million modern towels. I'd love to see a towel.
A lot of vintage towels, even more in the modern day. As you say, you could talk about towels for the whole podcast, couldn't you? But
absolutely,
picked a few out here. What have you spotted?
Well, the first one I spotted, and what I like about some of these vintage towels is how different they are to modern towels. So the very first one I picked is a towel, but it has tassels running down both sides that you would see on a rug or something like that. And this is a very, very early Star Wars towel made by a company called, I think it's Bibb, or it's BIBB.
Yeah, they're the ones that did all the bedding and the curtains and things.
Yes. So this is Darth Vader's helmet, a couple of Jawas, stormtroopers, a Death Star, TIE fighters, and it's known as the horizontal art beach towel. And it's absolutely brilliant how something like this has survived. You know what I mean? Imagine, getting given one of those as a kid. You'd be the envy of everybody at the beach. So that's my favourite of all the towels I could find.
That is wonderful, isn't it? And a bit of a Tatooine theme going on there. Like you say, you've got the Jawas and the stormtroopers. Certainly at least one of them is a sand trooper with the pauldron and with the big rifle. And yeah, an unusual combination of characters there, so I do like that. Another one from same company, Bibco, 1980. We're updated to The Empire Strikes Back. And again, a tasseled towel. Doesn't look all that thick, really, does it? I don't know how absorbent this would be, but the graphics on it, on the left-hand side, you've got Vader and Boba Fett, both in an action pose. Right-hand side, you've got R2 and 3PO with Cloud City in the background. And in the centre, you've got Yoda, who curiously looks like he's standing on Hoth with some snowspeeders going past in the background. Really jam-packed, action-packed towel. And again, I think any kid would have been delighted to have that on the beach.
Absolutely. But modern towels, you buy one of these beach towels, totally pointless. You rub yourself, you come out of the sea, you're soaking wet, you rub yourself with a beach towel, it makes no difference whatsoever.
You want to get yourself a nice microfiber towel, which I suspect.
Yes, absolutely. Another, they call it a beach pad. So it's hard, it's in the towels, it's in the beach section on the SWCA. It does look more... I don't know how to describe. Yes, I suppose it probably is.
A bit more robust, isn't it?
Robust, yes.
So it's more perhaps for sitting on a pebbly beach or somewhere where you
it is a pad,
stones.
Isn't it?
Yeah, It is. It's more like a mat.
Yes, and it's known as the Space Fantasy Beach Pad, which it's a wonderful title.
Yeah, well, Space Fantasy was the name for that particular design, because that design was repeated on the duvets and the curtains and all sorts. So that Space Fantasy is the name for the design rather than this particular beach pad.
So I wonder why they're using the Space Fantasy title on the advertising materials. Did they refer to that repeatedly as Space Fantasy?
Yeah, it's used on, like I say, all their products with that particular design on it. It's a Star Wars A New Hope design, so you've got the classic imagery from the Tom Young poster. You've got Luke with his lightsaber raised, Leia crouching at his feet with their blaster raised, R2 and 3PO, Vader in the background, all done in a very fetching sort of blue and gold and white motif. And yeah, it's a really common pattern. You'll see it on all sorts of the material products that Bibb put out. But this particular one, it's described as a quilted reversible beach pad. The top fabric and backing in 50% rayon, 50% polyester, with a polyester fibre fill. So, yeah, give you a little bit of comfort on the beach, a little bit more than you'd have with your average towel, I guess.
Well, we could take that and a towel with it in my suitcase, can't we?
I reckon we could. So, what you're wearing? While you're sitting on your towel or going in the Scariff surf?
Absolutely. As kids, we all wore budgie smugglers because things like Bermuda shorts and things like that didn't really exist back then. Certainly not in the UK. I remember getting my first pair of Bermuda shorts when I was 12 or something like that, and I thought I was the bee's knees, as we see over here. Everyone's like, "Wow, what on earth are them?" 1977, very early sunsuit, but you see these more common today. I think where people are concerned about the UV rays from the sun, where children are literally covered from, neck to toes and arms right out. But back then you could get swimsuits that would have legs in them, they're almost looking like dungarees, and I think these are really cool as well, from a company called Liberty Trouser.
I don't think these are swimwear. I think this is a sunsuit, so it's something that you'd wear when it's sunny outside.
I'd be in the water with that on.
You would
try and keep me out.
It is dungaree, so you've got the straps that go over the shoulders with metal buckles. You've got a pocket on the front. You've got long trousers, which look like they're flared. Star Wars design, so you've got Han Solo with his blaster out. You've got Death Star, you've got X-Wing, you've got all sorts going on there. Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Fantastic thing, but so 70s. That's brilliant. And I could just picture you in that, Rich, in the surf. Make a nice change from the short shorts.
Absolutely. Speaking of shorts, there's certainly plenty of them, aren't there?
There certainly are, and again, some lovely vintage examples. We've got, again, on the SWCA, and again from Liberty Trouser, a pair of lovely shorts. Blue fabric, R2 and 3PO, Han and Chewie, Vader and some TIE fighters on a lovely navy blue background. And those would go well. You can just see those combined with a Star Wars t-shirt and a nice pair of long socks and sandals in the 70s.
And would the brown pair or the blue pair be for you?
Oh, got to be the brown pair if we're going 70s. Gym shorts. Gym shorts, Rich, that's an interesting one. Tell us about your gym shorts.
Well, these gym shorts, like what you've just referred to there, things being so 70s, these are so late 70s, early 80s.
Something that the kids from Fame might have worn.
Yes, very short, very tight gym shorts. Navy blue with white Return of the Jedi logo. There's very little other than the logo that says Star Wars on them. Is the tag a picture of Chewbacca?
It certainly is, yeah. But obviously you take the tag off, so you're left with a pair of lovely navy blue shorts with orange trim. I wonder if that might possibly be modelled on the Hoth Crew Parkers.
Yes.
Very similar colour scheme. No, I feel like I'm reading far too much into it there. But...
I think it could be right on that. Sales Corporation of America was the licensee for those.
Yep, very nice. No actual swimwear that I've been able to find, not from the vintage period. There is loads and loads from the modern era. Lots and lots of swim shorts. And you can get sort of leggings and swimsuits and all sorts. I've seen sort of R2-D2 ladies swimsuits and C-3PO swimsuits and so on. So from the modern era, you can pretty much pick out what you want, and there'll be something with Star Wars on it.
Well, you've got your shorts, Andy. Are you going to walk around bare-chested all day, driving the girls crazy?
If I walked around bare-chested all day, Rich, I think the beach would be cleared in seconds. But no, you'd put a lovely T-shirt on, wouldn't you? Have that classic summertime shorts and T-shirt combo. And the first one we've got here is an unlicensed shirt from here in the UK. Fantastic shirt. I haven't got one of these. I'd love to find one of these for my collection. It's a white T-shirt. Across the centre, you've got a diagonal band with the Star Wars logo, so almost with a sort of classic racetrack design. Above that, top left, you've got C-3PO with his fist raised, and he's kind of pointing at you, so sort of saying, come on, get in the sea. Below that, you've got, again, that Tom Young illustration with the lightsaber up, Leia with the blaster out and the legs out, Death Star, X-Wings, Tatooine landscape. Beautiful. Really nice. Totally unauthorised bootleg, but the artwork, so 70s, so fantastic. I'd wear that now, Rich, I really would.
And even better than that, I think, is the next one, which is, again, the same unlicensed bootleg from the UK with the Star Wars racetrack diagonally from bottom left to top right. But in the top left-hand corner, this time is Darth Vader's head. And in the bottom right, you've got two X-Wings flying through the sky. Not space, through the sky.
You do, and that Vader looks a bit odd, doesn't he? It looks like he's been drawn by somebody who has had Darth Vader described to him, but hasn't actually seen the characters. Hasn't quite got that right, but hey. Next one up is one that I do have, and another one from the UK, Rich, which is a cinema promotional T-shirt. The description on the SWCA says it's a white T-shirt. It's not. It's actually beige. You can just about see that in the photo. It's got the Empire Strikes Back logo, And then to the top and bottom of the logo, you've got individual character portraits all within little circles. It's the same imagery that was used on the stickers that were given away by the Odeon cinema chain, and a little U for Universal. That's the rating next to the logo. And these would have been worn by employees of the Odeon cinema chain during the Empire Strikes Back release. Lovely shirt, and again, yeah, you would look so good in that on the beach, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, we could talk about T-shirts in 10 different podcasts and still, never repeat. So I'm only going to look at one more, and I stopped at this one. I thought, I haven't seen anything like this before. So it's a white T-shirt, and this time on the front of it, you've got 3 biker scouts all riding speeder bikes with the Return of the Jedi. Well, is it the Return of the Jedi logo? It may be a variation of the Return of the Jedi logo, but the Return of the Jedi logo underneath the biker scouts. And I was thinking, how often do you see biker scouts without Vader, without the Emperor, without the Royal Guard, without the Ewoks? Brilliant T-shirt. I love that.
It's a very unusual image, isn't it? Like you say, totally unique to have just the biker scouts there on their own doing the thing. But yeah, love that.
Union underwear.
Rounding off not yet rounding off, but adding to your ensemble, you need a nice pair of shades, don't you? I'm not sure there were any Star Wars branded sunglasses put out during the vintage period, but we found a couple of nice ones. First one is a Darth Vader sunglasses produced by a company called IMT Accessories in 2006, and these featured Darth Vader. So they are a pair of red sunglasses. On the left lens, you've got an image of Darth Vader. On the right lens, you've got a small Vader, so the writing, the script, VADER. And these come on a black card which says "Try me on," so you can unfold the sunglasses. You look a bit odd with the card still attached, but at least you can try them on and see what they do for you. And these apparently are a 2006 reissue of sunglasses that were originally released with a Revenge of the Sith card.
I certainly didn't see them back in the day. Again, I couldn't find any vintage Star Wars sunglasses. I'd be surprised if there wasn't any unlicensings. I'd be very surprised. There has to be some bootleg sunglasses in the States.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But the other one I looked at, these came out in 2005, and this is by INT Accessories, released for the Star Wars saga. And this is, I'd say, sunglasses R2-D2 in lens corner, blue, white, grey, and the saga header, "Try me on." What I like about it is the packaging. I think the packaging's really good. I probably would have picked that up for the packaging and maybe had that for a little while and not cared too much about the sunglasses.
Yeah, it's a nice design, isn't it? Nice blue and white, reflecting R2's colours there. And yeah, quite stylish, really.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds, bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
Keeping the sun out your eyes as well, you might have some headgear. You might have a cap or a hat or a visor. First one that I have found here is an item that was produced in Japan. This was in 1977 by Factors, and this is a red fabric visor with a blue plastic panel. The red fabric, so it's an elasticated band, goes around your head, and on the front of the red fabric, it's got the Star Wars logo. And then on the blue plastic visor, you've got the droids. You've got R2-D2 and C-3PO on a Starfield background, and their names written out in full. So C-3PO, R2-D2, and nice little visor that. Again, how 70s are visors. I don't think anybody wears those these days, do they? Possibly tennis players. Yeah, really of its time there.
Yeah, I think I had something very similar to the next one, which is Star Wars Return of the Jedi visor. And it certainly wasn't Star Wars branded, but it was very plain with the green film on the front of it, which was see-through. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I don't know why I would have worn it. I think we went on holiday to Cornwall when we were children, places like Torbay or somewhere down there. And probably got a few photographs of myself waving one whilst we're away, but certainly when we came back up in the northeast, there was no way on earth that would have survived. It would have been tossed in the bin as soon as I got back. I hated them.
It's the sort of thing that you're on holiday with your parents on a sunny day, and your mum looks in the little beach shop, and the only thing they've got is one of these horrible plastic visors. And she buys that and says, "Stick that on, it'll keep the sun off you." You don't have much choice until it accidentally on purpose gets lost along the way somewhere. Next one I've picked out, and again, not so many folks are going to have this one in their collection, I'm sure. This is a full cap, so like a baseball cap. And this is a Blue Harvest crew cap, used by the crew of the then-titled film Revenge of the Jedi to conceal the film to the public using the imaginary horror film title Blue Harvest as a front. So these would have been produced for the filming in Yuma, Arizona and in Crescent City, California. It's a light blue cap. It's got a woven patch on the front with the Blue Harvest logo. Very rare, very nice indeed. I'm not sure whether, if I had one of those, I would actually wear it out. I think it would be locked in a safe somewhere, but a very nice item nonetheless.
And as you'd expect with modern, there's certainly lots of them. So one that you've highlighted is a Darth Maul face and name oval bucket cap. I only ever saw these kind of hats worn by cricketers. And with you being down south, you probably saw these a lot, did you?
Yeah, cricketers. And I thought it was topical because we've got Oasis out on tour again, and it was something that was worn by Oasis and a lot of their fans, wasn't it? The old bucket hat. So perhaps a Darth Maul bucket hat. If you go to an Oasis gig this summer, stick one of these on, and you're sure to get noticed. Maybe not for the right reasons, but it's a black and white bucket hat, and it's got a lovely badge on the front saying Darth Maul in big yellow writing and a picture of his face, and two, what are those supposed to be, his double-bladed lightsabers?
I think so.
Possibly. Yeah. Anyway, there we are. 1999, made by Fresh Caps in the United States.
Well, you're on the beach, you're by the pool, you've been in for a swim, you've come back out, you've got all dried, you've got your hat on, you've got your bucket cap on, you've got your visor on because you want to look like a complete idiot, you've got your T-shirt on, you've got your shorts on, you're lying there. What are you going to do next?
You want something to read, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're only going to get bored. You can only look at the women on the beach for so long, so you need to pick up a paperback or a comic and have some nice reading material there. So first one, the New Hope paperback novel. How many times have I read this? Countless times. Can read it again and again and again. I practically know it off by heart. The novelisation, ghostwritten by Alan Dean Foster but attributed to George Lucas. My collection, I must have probably 8 or 10 different copies, different printing variations, hardbacks, paperbacks, young readers editions, etc. But it's what started it all. And that novel, back in the day when we didn't have Star Wars available on Disney Plus or on DVD or on Blu-ray or any of the millions of different ways you can watch it now, you couldn't just go to the movie. You had to do other means, and the best way for me was to read and reread that paperback book. My first copy got absolutely torn to shreds.
And still quite cheap to pick up, isn't it? The vintage copies. You can. I've seen them going for £1 each.
Yeah,
some of them.
Pound, couple of pounds. Any toy fair, it will go on eBay. There'll be dozens and dozens and dozens available. And if anyone hasn't read it, do pick it up. It's a good read. It's got all the deleted scenes in it. It's got bits and pieces that you don't get from the movie, so well worth a read.
But perhaps you may want to read a comic. Marvel Comics. They started before the movie came out.
They did, yeah. I mean, Marvel Comics, crikey, old, new, in between. I mean, how long have Marvel Comics been going? They've been going, as you say, longer than the movies have. And if you can get an anthology, then that's sure to while away an hour or two on the beach or by the pool. Whether you're reading classic Marvel, the new stories, the movie adaptations, there's so much to choose from. And Marvel really have done a great service to Star Wars fandom over the years, haven't they?
Absolutely. Now, I have countless novels and countless comics now. I really don't know how many I've got, but I will not take any of my books at all unless it's a paperback that I'm going to dispose of or recycle or donate to somewhere when I've come back. So it's the only time I would actually read anything Star Wars and wish for a Kindle, because I think Kindles have been a game changer. I remember borrowing cassette tapes from the local library and copying tapes, listening to, the Throne trilogy and the Dark Empire adaptions, and listening to them on an old, MP3 player when I converted the cassettes to digital format. And then when the PDFs came out of the books, I just couldn't get away with it. I needed, to have the book in my hand. I needed a better font. I needed to look better. I think Kindles have really advanced over the last 6 or 7 years to be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn with Kindle because I do love the feel of a good paperback in my hand. I love the tactile nature of being able to turn the pages and fold the pages down and so on. You can take a paperback on the beach, you can get it wet, you can drop it, you can do a lot of damage to a paperback and still read it. But on the other hand, if you're going on holiday, you don't want to take half a dozen paperbacks, you want to take something small and light, and that's where the Kindle comes in. So I have used a Kindle more recently than I had in the past. Still don't think I'm converted, but it's there. No. It's an option.
No, it is. Right, and so then you've got the little kids, and the little kids are saying, "Dad, Mum, I'm bored. Can we get ourselves in the pool?" And, nowadays what you do, you go to get a ridiculously big inflatable that doesn't fit in the pool, you annoy everybody, or you get a beach ball that you hit, or a volleyball now that you hit around in the pool. But back then, what was available?
Yeah, little kids, Rich, little kids. Don't forget the big kids as well. What was available back then? Well, there was a company in Australia called Aqua Fun, who produced all sorts of inflatable goodies. They had an inflatable speedboat and various other bits and pieces, but the couple of bits we've picked out, one is something called an Ewok bubble. And I've got the picture here in front of me, and I still don't quite know what this is. It comes in packaging, black packaging. It's got the Star Wars logo and the Return of the Jedi logo at the top, and it says Ewok Bubble, inflatable swim aid for children ages 3 to 10 years. Nice picture of Wicket on the front. It says, learn to swim with confidence, made in Taiwan for Aqua Fun. And there's an inflatable, it's a round thing, and it's got some straps coming off, but where would you wear that? Would you wear it on your front? Wear it on your back?
I think you strap it on your chest, don't you?
Yeah.
So it keeps you up?
Keeps you up, keeps you swimming on your back. I suppose that's logical. You wouldn't strap it on your back because otherwise your face would be underwater.
Yeah, unless you were lying backwards, of course.
Yeah, so learn to swim with confidence. Well, it might teach you the backstroke, but it's not going to teach you much else. But an unusual little item. It's got unusually 3 pictures of Wicket on there. One big one and 2 smaller, and the Return of the Jedi logo. But there we are, an Ewok bubble. Unusual little item to pick up. The other item from Aqua Fun that we've picked out. Well, Rich, I'm sure when you're on a holiday, you don't want to find floaters in the pool, do you?
No.
Crikey. That is the next thing that Aqua Fun have produced. R2-D2 floaters. Swim trainer for children and adults. Learn to swim with confidence. And you look at the product and you think, floaters. It's not what I'm thinking at all. It's armbands.
Yeah.
Inflatable armbands with R2-D2 pictured on them. Fantastic. Inflatable arm floats provide confidence in the water. Buoyancy helps keep the head above water. Comfortable design allows free arm movement. Well, I don't remember free arm movement when I was learning to swim and had armbands on, but hey, there you go. Nice box with R2 and 3PO pictured on there. And bright yellow armbands, R2-D2 pictured on those.
You were 21 when you were learning to swim. I think most children who were like 2 or 3 years old probably did have more free movement. But when I was a kid, most people had armbands back then. They were orange. And that's all you ever saw. You only ever saw orange armbands. You never saw different colours.
No, and certainly not branded ones.
No.
So, I think the Australians were well looked after there by Aqua Fun. What else have we got? We have got a fantastic inflatable X-Wing fighter produced in Japan by Takara. Now, you look at this and the packaging says X-Wing fighter. It actually says X-Wing fighter on it, but is it an X-Wing, Rich?
It's not an X-Wing at all. It's a land speeder. Oh, actually, well, it's hard to see. It's got the X at the back.
It's got an X at the back, but it's more like a bomb.
A bomb?
I suppose it's like an elongated rugby ball with some fins at the back. If you picture the classic bomb design that you'd see in World War II movies coming out the bottom of a bomber.
Are we looking at the same image here?
We're looking at the Takara inflatable X-Wing fighter. That's what I'm looking at. What are you looking at?
I was looking at the X-Wing snow inflatable. Right. So you're looking at that one. That's where I'm getting confused.
That's not a vintage Takara item.
Right. I've got you now. No, Andy, it looks absolutely nothing like an X-Wing fighter. If anything, this is something that would be dropped on British lands by the Germans back in World War II.
Exactly, yeah. I'm glad we're on the same page now. Yeah, bright blue, red stripe down the side. It says Star Wars X-Wing fighter. There is a picture of an X-Wing on it, but it looks nothing at all like your classic X-Wing. I mean, Takara did do some bonkers stuff, didn't they? With all the disc firing and rocket firing things and so on. And this is as bonkers as they come. Fantastic item.
Absolutely. You can't be too many of them survived, and I certainly wouldn't want to be blowing one of those up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, come on then, Rich, what were you talking about?
Well, there's a lot of modern inflatables, and some of them I think are brilliant, and I would love for both these for my kids if I had known about them when they were little. But the first one I want to look at is the X-Wing snow inflatable. Now, I know what you're thinking, snow.
Are we going to allow that?
Well, yes, because you can put it in the pool. It's a snow inflatable.
Sledge, isn't it?
Is it? You get inflatable sledges?
I've never had an inflatable sledge, but that's what this is sold as. But you're right. You would not use that on the snow, would you? You'd chuck it.
No, you wouldn't. You would use it when the tide, when the waves are crashing about you. But it's brilliant, like a canoe. It's absolutely brilliant. An X-Wing. Who made this?
Having said that, I'm sure one of the Fantha trackers has had one of these in Fantha at one stage.
Probably.
I'm sure I've seen photos. But
Globe Dragon Technology Development Limited. What a catchy name that is, a licensee. 2008. I love it. I think it's brilliant.
That is really good, isn't it? Alongside that, we have a land speeder boat lounger perhaps. I don't know why you'd call it a lounge. Anyway, a boxed inflatable, one of the coolest inflatables from the Phantom Menace line. Although this is not from Phantom Menace, this is from the original trilogy. It's a land speeder. It's an inflatable land speeder that you actually sit in your swimming pool. Fantastic. I absolutely love this. And if we had one of those, I'd be chucking that kid out. He can go and swim. I'm having the land speeder. Thank you very much. That's mine.
Well, even better than that, I think, is the Millennium Falcon Island River Raft.
Oh,
I mean, how amazing is that? An inflatable Millennium Falcon. I want to buy one of these now and take it with us.
You talked about inflatables that are too big for your swimming pool. This thing is 168 centimetres by 132 centimetres. Mm-hmm. You'd fit easily 2 or 3 adults or about 12 kids on one of those, wouldn't you? Yeah, that is superb. I can just see one of those in the pool, and all the other families looking on in mixed jealousy and annoyance because you're taking up all the room.
And one thing that is pretty big that I wouldn't be seen dead in, as I'm guessing that's something you've put in the show notes, Jar Jar.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, this is in the so bad it's great category. This is a Jar Jar 2-person riding. So it's an inflatable. You've got 2 rings, so you can put 2 little people down through the rings, like a swim ring. At one end, you've got Jar Jar's head, and he's got his hands behind his head and his tongue lolling out. Looks very relaxed. And at the other end, you've got his feet popping up. So in between his head and his feet, you can have 2 kids in this inflatable. It's hideous. It's horrible. Yeah, I think you get lots of attention in the pool for all the wrong reasons with that. Lots of attention for all the right reasons, though, the next one, Rich.
Well, going back to that Jar Jar thing, I also think it's a bad design, because if you've got 2 kids like mine, one's going to want to go left, one's going to want to go right. 2 rings joined together? It's not going to work. Who came up with that?
Yeah, bonkers.
Well, I think what you're referring to next then is the Death Star Light Up Beach Ball. And this is cool. If you're going to play with a ball, you want it to be a Death Star ball. And the one that lights up. That's no moon, it's a beach ball.
Well, this is one item that I cannot believe Lucasfilm didn't have out in the 70s. You've got an item like the Death Star. Isn't it just obvious that you release a beach ball or a soccer ball or some sort of ball-shaped item featuring the Death Star graphics? It's just crying out for it, but they never did. Anyway, somebody has remedied that now. This Death Star has got a diameter of 31 inches. It's huge. It's got embedded LEDs that illuminate every time you hit the ball. It's got the fantastic Death Star graphics with the central trench and the super laser and everything else. And yeah, next time I'm going on holiday, I'm getting myself one of those. That is wonderful.
You know, we've been in the pool for a while. We're getting quite wrinkly, and it's time now to have some fun in the sand, I think. So what you would have expected, and we did get in the vintage days, is the Frisbees. And I know you've mentioned the Takara Vader Frisbee in the show notes, but I want to jump to the X-Wing Pine Sol Frisbee, because the reason why I love this is because, you know, such the randomness of Pine Sol having a promotion for Star Wars and tying in Frisbees with it. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's just bizarre, isn't it? Pine Sol in the US, it's a cleaning product, isn't it? So it's the sort of thing that your mum would have in the cleaning cupboard. But yeah, why on earth you would have the Star Wars design? I mean, perhaps aimed at, not wanting to be sexist here, but aimed at mums. Perhaps you had a bit of pester power. Kids saying, no, Mum, don't buy that cleaning product, buy this one because I can get a Star Wars Frisbee. They actually had 6 different designs available. So you had 3PO, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, R2-D2, Stormtrooper, and an X-Wing. And the X-Wing had a variation because one version had the X-Wing fighter name on, the other one did not have a name. These are silver in colour, black graphics, and they're really quite nice, aren't they?
They are, and to the best of my knowledge, at least half of them are fairly readily available. I think there may be 1 or 2 that are pretty tough to get, but if you wanted one, they're not too tough to get.
No, they're not. They're not. And a nice design and a fantastic beach toy. Who didn't love a Frisbee when you were a nipper? The other one that we've picked out, and you have already alluded to it, is by Takara, Japanese item, 1977. This is a blue flying disc with a fantastic image of Darth Vader on a paper sticker. And the Star Wars logo came on a Star Wars branded backing card with what looks like polythene wrapping. Fantastic item, and again, that would have been on my packing list for sure going on holiday. As would our next item, a fantastic little piece from Palitoy. And in the show notes, I have found an article on this item by somebody called Richard Hutchinson. Not sure who
That's
he is.
right. Mm-hmm. Hate them. Hate kites. Hated them as a kid. Hate them now. Hate them when the kids started to show an interest in them. Obviously, in the northeast, we get a lot of wind, but kites are terrible. Oh, there you go. I want to go on record. Absolutely detest them.
Oh, when you get a kite flying properly, it's great.
You can't get a kite flying properly. That's the problem. You cannot do it.
You can. It takes a bit of time and a bit of practice, and a bit of effort, and the right conditions. But when you get it flying properly, it's wonderful. And kids' eyes light up, and they're controlling this thing that's way up in the sky and making it dip and dive around. Fantastic. So the Star Wars High Flyer Keel Kite from Palitoy. This is an item which probably was sold in shops as well, but most notably was available as an offer on KP Outer Space's crisps. You'd collect up your crisp bags, you'd send in 3 empty wrappers and 95p, and in a few days' time, your fighter kite would arrive in the post. It was packaged in cellophane wrapping with a cardboard header card. It's a navy blue kite, X-Wing and TIE Fighter on the left-hand side, Star Wars logo on the right-hand side. Very, very flimsy, very cheap polythene, flimsy balsa wood struts inside and a reel of string, but a lovely, lovely collectible, and not that easy to find these days.
These would have been better if they made 2, and one was an X-Wing and one was the TIE Fighter.
Oh, yeah, you could battle then, couldn't you? They do kite battles, don't they? Some of the Japanese are into.
Well, the only kite I actually had any success with was a carrier bag that I had as a child. And I remember doing something to the carrier bag, and the carrier bag went up in the air, and I was like, oh, finally, I've got something.
Why does that not surprise me up there in the deprived north?
Hi, it's John Jackson Miller, author of Star Wars The Living Force, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
The other ones that we had in the UK were from a company called Worlds Apart, and these were for Return of the Jedi. Worlds Apart produced 2 action stunt kites, one featuring the Millennium Falcon, the other one featuring Darth Vader. And these, I think you might have had a little bit more success with, Rich. These were designed as stunt kites, had a long tail with each one, and these you'd have been able to perform all sorts of tricks and stunts and things with. I can remember my brother had something similar, and he got it going quite well back in the day. I've got a couple of these, not going to break them out the package and have a go with, but it'd be nice to sometime.
Right then, so we're tired now. We've been out all day. We're a bit sunburnt. We're going back inside to cool off a little bit. You might want to sit down, relax, couple of drinks. What do you need with you? Playing cards. How difficult was it to find playing cards?
How difficult? Playing cards were everywhere.
Star Wars playing cards, though.
But not Star Wars ones, no, indeed, no. And the ones that you've picked out are a set from Argentina by a licensee called Chromie, 1983. And this is a store display with packs of cards in from El Regreso del Jedi. And it says Juego de Naipe, which I assume is Spanish for playing cards. Nice box with the Return of the Jedi movie poster image on. And I imagine inside they're just standard playing cards, but we haven't got a picture of that, so don't know.
But wouldn't you thought they'd be everywhere, Star Wars playing cards? I mean, obviously Top Trumps came out, and there were Star Wars Top Trumps in that, but Star Wars playing cards, surely there would have been vintage ones of those.
Yeah, again, a paper item. It would have been a very cheap item to manufacture. There was was it Parker Games, Play for Power card game? Again, that was around about the time of Return of the Jedi. But no, not as common as you'd think. Somebody missed a trick there.
Mm-hmm.
You have, however, found another one, haven't you? Something else that your kids might have took on holiday. What's that one?
Well, again, Droids and Ewok. So James Gallo, who has a lot of Droids and Ewoks items, on the SWCA has a Droids and Ewok card game. And it was a card game containing 32 playing cards and 1 rule card. And the rule card has the same image as the colourful box that the set comes in. And the cards are a little bit smaller than a typical deck of cards, and they have all the same backs. All the cards contain images from the Droids and Ewoks cartoons or the original art for the action figures. Some very, very cool images not often seen outside the set. And it looks as though it's some kind of strategy game, something very, very simple for children to play. It's hard to tell because you can't really zoom in on the text too well, but I'm guessing it's some kind of complete the set or some kind of very simple children's game. So obviously, it's not something like Snap because the cards don't repeat. But
cards are all numbered, aren't they? So you've got 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, etc., up to the 8 series. So, it's probably one where you've got to complete the set, isn't it? You've got to get all the 1s or all the 2s, etc.
Absolutely. The images are brilliant. The Boba Fett on the 7C card.
Yes, some fantastic artwork. Really, really nice. And as you've said, some of the artwork from the action figure card backs, some unusual images besides. Very nice. Last but not least, Rich, if you're away on a holiday, not with the kids, maybe on a Club 18 to 30 holiday, away with the lads. You might be down the clubs in Ayia Napa. You might get lucky. You might need something for a little bit of protection, mightn't you? The very last thing on our list, and probably a very good place to finish, is a Star Wars condom pack. This is by a British company called Custom Condoms. And on each of the wrappers, there is a little Star Wars quote or a Star Wars pun. The first one says, "You're the Obi-Wan for me." Then there's Yoda 1 for me. "Judge me by my size, do you?" And the last one, "I will not be your father." There you go. We've got a pack of 4, each with those designs. And yeah, there we go.
And unfortunately, out of stock for anybody who may want to purchase them.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? But yeah, there we go. The last holiday accessory on our lovely list.
Just out of interest, Andy, what was the last Star Wars item that you took on holiday?
Last Star Wars item I took on holiday was a couple of weeks ago to the Isle of Wight. I took a bag of figures to do a bit of photography with. I had some Stormtroopers, R2-D2 and 3PO, and modern Mandalorian. I didn't end up actually doing any photography because we were on the go or we were on the beach and, crowded beach, lots of people around. When you're doing Star Wars figure photography, you want somewhere where, you've got a nice clear background. You don't want sort of kids in the background and beach tents and so on. So I took the figures with me, but I didn't actually end up using them. But that's the last Star Wars item that I took away.
And for me, it was.
What about yourself?
I really like a T-shirt that I think I got from Asda. And it's a Star Wars bluey grey T-shirt with a TIE fighter on the front of it, and it literally says Empire Strikes Back with the TIE fighter. And I love that T-shirt. It's really good quality. It's the same one that I wore at the Black Sabbath Back to Beginning concert. So it seems to be a staple of my collection at the moment. I don't know about you, Andy, but I'm one of them kind of people who, if I need 5 T-shirts, I just take the 5 from the top of the pile. I was sorting out some clothes just 2 or 3 days ago, and those polo shirts that I've never seen in my life, but apparently I own them and I've worn them, so I've been told to put them back in and wear them. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, pack light, pack just what you need and no more. So yeah, if you go for 5 days, 5 T-shirts, 5 pairs of underwear, 5 pairs of socks, 1 pair of trousers, job done. And yeah, I do have a bit of banter with the wife about that, who's packed a suitcase 3 times the size of mine. Yeah, just in case.
Yes, they certainly do that. They certainly do. Well, then, Andy, it's been wonderful to talk about holidays. All this is making me feel as though that we need to go back on holiday again and perhaps have a different rebrand of our current wardrobe and perhaps have it a little bit more Star Wars themed.
Absolutely, and don't forget your Star Wars condoms, Rich.
So thanks for listening to Collecting Tracks. If you want to be part of the action, stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news, visit fanthatracks.com or check out the free Fantha Tracks app through the App Store to follow us on your mobile device. You can reach out to us and send in your listeners' questions by emailing radio@fanthatracks.com. Comment, like and share on any of our social media feeds at Fantha Tracks, and be sure to subscribe, leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice. And as always, thanks to James Semple for composing the Fantha Tracks intro, Andy Lythe for our Collecting Tracks open music, and Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceovers. Remember to tune in to Good Morning Tatooine, live Sunday evenings at 9 PM UK time, 4 PM Eastern and 1 PM Pacific on Facebook and YouTube. Check out Fantha Tracks Radio Friday evenings at 7 PM UK time for new episodes of the Fantha from Down Under, Planet Leia, Desert Planet Discs, Start Your Engines, Collecting Tracks and Cannon Fodder, and every Tuesday at 7 PM UK time for your weekly episode of Making Tracks.
Coming up next on Fantha Tracks Radio, it's Making Tracks.